Good morning, Krista Forrester.
Good morning, Karen. How are you this morning?
It's been a early morning. I have already been up, taken Trigger to the vet and had her checked out. She had to get an antibiotic shot. Apparently, she doesn't have an infection yet, but her milk is drying up from feeding the babies, and it's causing her a lot of discomfort and distress. And so the poor baby, it looks, I hope everybody didn't think this is too graphic, but when the dog lays on the bed and her boob stands up on its own, like its own little person, like all six of them, that's not good. And poor thing. So I took her to the vet first thing this morning and got her a shot of antibiotics and some medicine. So she's doing good. She's out in her kennel right now. So hopefully my dogs won't bark during this video, which will be it'll be a new thing.
It will be a new thing. Yes.
How about you? How are you doing?
Oh, hang on a second. Let me just, it's Monday, right?
Yes, ma'am. Monday.
It is a Monday, and we've already had technology challenges this morning. So for those of you that are watching, please be patient with us. It's like, stand by, please wait. I actually trying to get my Wi-Fi to turn off so that I will stay connected to all of you guys. I don't know if it's been the weather here. I haven't seen the actual news, but I did see some reports this morning of tornadoes, maybe South Alabama, panhandle of Florida. I'm not sure if we have any ladies listening or watching in from there, but we're thinking about you. Strange storm system last night.
Yep, I saw Miss Melanie. Hi, Melanie. So guess what we have today? We have a guest who she is working on getting her internet right now. So as soon as we get there, this is country life, right? You know, when we live out in the sticks and we don't go to our normal place of business, it causes internet challenges. But she's working very hard to get us out, because we're going to talk about conservation. And we are lucky enough, one of our Shoot Like a Girl instructors also works for the Fish and Game Department in the state of New Mexico. And she is the shooting sports coordinator. It's quite an important position because she's responsible for that entire state's shooting program. So if you think about it, it's pretty cool. But Jessica is going to come on. I think I can bring her on now. Let me see if I can add Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Yeah. So if we break up, we're sorry.
Good morning. How are you?
We're so great, Jessica, and thanks for joining us. I called Jessica like half an hour and said, I forgot to secure our guests in a timely fashion. And so I need some help. Could you please come in? And she, of course, jumped right on it because she is all about empowering women and helping the shooting sports community. So before we start with you, Jessica, I got to turn it back over to Krista for a little bit of administrative stuff, because I know everybody signs in first thing in the morning to see who wins our prize from last week. So Krista, I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll get Jessica some questions.
All right. So if you all remember, last Friday, we had a very detailed gun cleaning class with Rebecca King. She did an excellent job. And it was sponsored by one of our awesome partners, Hoppies. She walked us through everything. So if you missed Friday and you have some questions, go back and watch it in a replay. It's an absolutely amazing, thorough gun cleaning. And she tells you where to find the information you might need if you don't know how to clean your firearm. So we have a winner, and that winner is going to win a Hoppies gun cleaning kit. And that is Barbara McKelvey. So Barbara McKelvey, congratulations. I don't know if you're watching this morning. I will reach out to you, get your mailing address, and we will have a Hoppies kit sent to you. Just like for all of the other prize winners, thank you for your patience during this, because we are all working from satellite locations, including our partners in a lot of cases. And so things are very delayed being mailed, but I promise you will get your products. So thank you for watching. Congratulations, Barbara McKelvey. And I can't wait to hear from Jessica. So it's interesting, Jessica, your position again is what?
I'm the shooting program coordinator for the Department of Game and Fish.
That's really awesome. So in my state, to the best of my knowledge, we don't have that person. And if we do, they're not doing a very good job of promoting themselves.
Well, I would say that it's not all about shooting sports, and that they're going to see that person out there teaching a lot, because probably 75% of my job is doing shooting range development. And most states have somebody that does shooting range development, because the Pittman Robertson money, that excise tax on your firearms and ammunition, also, so the hunter ed portion of it covers shooting range development. So you probably do have somebody. They probably don't do a lot of shooting sports and
Got
do
it.
more shooting ranges. So
That makes sense. Now I kept thinking, I don't think we have this person. So I'll have to figure that out. Thanks for sharing
yeah,
that.
and they have different titles in different states, but it's something along the same line. So and it's not usually associated with the hunter ed program.
Well, I have to ask, how long have you been doing that and how did you get involved? Sounds kind of
I've
like a
been
dream
here
job,
for
actually.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I just finished the construction on a range, and being a project manager for a large construction project is a little stressful, but it is still cool. I've been with the department for almost 7 years, and I kind of fell into it in a very roundabout way, but I was working at a shooting range here in New Mexico, the NRA Whittington Center, and I was a assistant program director there. Worked with a lot of um, shooting organizations that do competitions, and had met the folks at Game and Fish in New Mexico, and somebody had gave me a heads up that, hey, this position's open, and I applied, and here I am. So it's a great job. I
Awesome.
love it. The other half of my job, or the other portion of my job, is I do get to work with youth, women, new shooters. So that's the part that I love. It's the most exciting.
So Jessica, as everybody is cooped in their houses, and I know that a lot of parks are open or they're opening
Karen,
back
I
up,
can
and
see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
uh-oh.
Did I lose audio?
All right, can you
Nope.
hear me now? Can you hear me, Krista?
I can
hear
hear you,
Krista,
Karen.
but I can't hear
Okay,
Karen,
well then
but I can hear Krista.
All right, so Krista, you ask a question and I'll pop off and come back in.
all right. So, well, let's see if we can come up with the next step. So one of our topic today is conservation, right? And helping people understand a little bit about the different forms of conservation. Can you tell me how conservation impacts your segment of what you do, or do you have any connection with things that deal with conservation?
So I think the first thing is we should define conservation, and conservation is the management of wildlife, the useful management. It's not preservation, which preservation is to preserve everything, and conservation is to manage it responsibly and utilize the wildlife that we have. And in some states, they are responsible for all wildlife species, no matter what. Other states, it's just game species. It varies from state to state a little bit, but I think we all work with threatened and endangered species and those protected species. And so we have, our game management, but we also have management of non-game species. And so one of the ways you can get involved right now, because times are tough, we're not outside either, and we're working from home. It's hard for us not to tell people to go outside and do things, because a lot of our wildlife management areas are closed. Some shooting ranges are closed. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that in your states as well. But there's a Share with Wildlife program, and it's really about the non-game species, and they accept donations. They may have some resources available on where to go bird watching and things like that. But they also have wildlife plates in almost, I think, every state. You may have seen a specialty plate in your state with some kind of wildlife on it. And I was going to show you mine, but I left it sitting at the house when I scrambled to get cell service. So yeah, I do. Part of what I am kind of involved in is advanced hunter education. And shooting ranges are built and developed so that hunters, can practice. It gives them a place to go and sight in their rifle and practice, because we want our hunters to be proficient. We want them to make good, clean shots. And so I see we have a question.
We do.
Should
We
I
have a
address
question.
that, or
Yeah,
do you want me to-
I was gonna
Okay.
say the question is, how important are hunters to conservation? Non-hunters do not understand.
Well, hunters pay for conservation, and they do that through hunting and fishing license, the purchases of those. And there's also permits or stamps and things that hunters have to have that other people don't have to have. Like if a hunter is going to go hunt on BLM land, there's a special stamp they have to have that say a bird watcher doesn't have to have that stamp, or somebody that's just out day hiking or horseback riding, they don't have to pay to use that land, and hunters do. So hunters pay for a lot of things. It's very a user pay system.
So I have to
Um,
ask, what does BLM stand for? What's BLM land?
okay. Oh, sorry. I'm in the West.
Okay.
That's so there's U.S. Forest Service and there's BLM, and BLM is the Bureau of Land Management.
Okay.
And the 13 Western states, those are, the states that are west of the Rockies. We have a lot of BLM land in our country, and a lot of people hunt that land. And so that and Forest Service and state land, things like that. But we got a lot of public land out here, and I forget that you guys don't.
We have some, it's interesting you mentioned about shooting ranges, is that we just had a thing in Alabama. Our shooting ranges, they've been investing all this money in concrete benches and updating them, and we've had a rash of vandalism where literally people have been taking sledgehammers to some of those shooting benches, which is crazy. And so luckily we had a local concrete company that stepped in and agreed to fix them for free for our country, or for our state. But it's been kind of sad to see that happen. Can you tell us about the DOES program for women in New Mexico? Is that?
We don't have a program specifically through the department, but there are some programs in the state. The National Wild Turkey Federation has a ladies program, but we have partnered with the Mule Deer Foundation, and shout out to Colleen Payne. I know she's part of our team here with Shoot Like a Girl too. So we have developed a ladies program where we're introducing women to hunting and fishing. We think of conservation so much as just hunting, but a lot of it is anglers as well. They put a lot of money into our conservation programs and things. So we started that program in 2017, maybe. I can't even remember. It's so long. And and it's called DOES, Discover the Outdoors and Encourage Sportsmanship. And so it's mule deer, does, kind of little play on words there, so it's fun. And we have a Facebook page, and you can look that up. It's Discover the Outdoors and Encourage Sportsmanship.
So is that just, I might have missed this, but can someone find that anywhere in the country, or could there be a program similar in other states?
So we started it in New Mexico. It has not taken off and gone outside of New Mexico yet. We hope it will. But the National Wild Turkey Federation, I think, probably has their program's been established a lot longer, and it probably more likely to find that in I don't want to say all 50 states, but quite a few. And then there's a program called Becoming the Outdoor Woman, and it's a program that's actually closely associated with a lot of Department of Wildlife, and that's across the country, and they do some really cool stuff with that program. So there are a lot of lady hunting education programs out there that you just got to kind of Google women's hunting or ladies hunting or something along that line. But your best resource is to contact your Department of Wildlife, your Game and Fish or DNR, whatever it is in your state. And, if you're not sure who to start with, start with the hunter education coordinator, ask them questions. And hunter education is in itself a great program that anybody can take part in. There's no age restrictions. It's a great starting tool for people who maybe a little unsure about hunting or want to get involved but don't know where to start. But I would say hunter education is the best place to start. And taking a class with a bunch of kids can be intimidating. We do some lady, those know-it-all kids. we do some lady only classes, which have been hugely successful, and I know more states are starting to do that. And it's just it's a great program to start out, and you can meet some people, get some resources, maybe your future hunting partner is somebody you would meet at that class.
Yep. Hey, right, Jessica, sorry,
ahead,
I have a question, because you talked about sportsmanship in the last as the S for does. And I'd like you to kind of explain what sportsmanship is when you think in terms of the outdoors, especially in hunting and conservation.
Well, I think what I immediately think of is ethics. And ethics is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. And your code of ethics might be different than mine. It's a personal, it's kind of a personal, I don't know what I want to say, behavior. And, following the laws, the rules, making that clean shot, you might shoot after the sun goes down, and I might say, no, my eyes aren't that good. I can't ethically make a clean shot after the sun goes down because I can't see. But legal hunting hours are in most states about a half an hour after the sun goes down. So your code of ethics might be a little bit different than mine, but you have to identify what that is for you. And so that's one thing in sportsmanship. The other thing is not to brag. Hunters they can have a bad name in some places. People are like, oh, they just go out and kill things, and then they just, I don't know if you guys have heard, we've got coyote contest, and those are not always the things that we like to hear about in the news, because it's they left all of these carcasses and things like that. And so that sportsmanship is making sure that hunters are shined in a good light. So we've got some really archaic hunter ed videos we watch, and they throw a deer across the hood of the truck, and you're just like, ah! Not only is that horrible for perception, but the hood of your truck is warm, and so it's going to cook that meat. And so sportsmanship plays into so many factors. Representing the hunting community in a good light is a lot of that, and being respectful of each other hunters, non-hunters. You think of sportsmanship in like basketball, and it's being a good team player, and that's what we look for in sportsmanship with hunting as well.
Thank you. Well,
we're getting we're getting ready to close to time, but I wanted to kind of recap. I think I can say this statement, so correct me, Jessica, if I have it wrong. But one of the things that we can, for the non-hunters that might be watching and don't want to hunt, like it's not something they even have an interest in, that with an ethical, good hunter, we can thank them, because with their things like licensures and stamps, it's helping fund some of our federal and state parks areas, as well as with conservation. I think I understand it that if we did not have hunting, one of the things that we might find is illness and sickness among more of that natural habitat out there. And this is one of the ways that we keep sort of the animals healthy. Is that a good way to say that? How would I say that?
I think you nailed it. But you did mention parks, and I do want to say that parks in some states are not part of the Department of Wildlife.
Okay.
And parks, we can't use our Pittman-Robertson money on parks, specifically on park operation. It's Pittman-Robertson money, which is that federal excise tax, is strictly for the management of wildlife and hunter education. And so it's but I think you nailed it. Hunters are the managers, and we pay for conservation in this country. It's the North American model, and if you want more information, Google that. Make sure you look up your local DNR wildlife. That the internet's your best resource, especially right now.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on today. We're at 20 minutes. We try to hold these at 15, no longer than 20. I really, really appreciate it. I know Karen does too. We kind of hit you quickly this morning. And of course, with technology issues, you're sitting in your car instead of at home so that you can actually get online. So we appreciate that. We can't thank you enough.
Yep.
We did not mention at the beginning today, everyone watching, that if you like, comment, or share, you'll be entered to win an RMEF sweatshirt. So that is, my brain just lost the R.
Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
Thank you. Shoo! Rocky Mountain. I could think of Elk Foundation, but the R left me. So RMEF is Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation sweatshirt. We'll do that drawing from the like, comments, and shares. Don't forget to join us Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon at 3:00. We do have a special guest. It's Kim Rohde. If you don't know who Kim Rohde is, she's an American double trap and skeet shooter. She's a 6-time Olympic medal winner, including 3 golds, and 6 times national champion in double trap. So we're going to have her as our guest speaker on Wednesday. And I think Karen and I are probably going to hover ourselves to the background and manage your questions and let her tell her story about how she got to where she is and show you all her awesomeness and the kindness that she can be. So thank you, Jessica. We really appreciate it. Oh, also tomorrow night, Ladies Night In. We do have a Ladies Night In for those that don't know. That is a non-shooting, non-archery, non-anything conversation. It's just a place for ladies to come and join. We're going to have a presentation called 50 Shades of Green. Yep, it's a unique title. We've got Dawn Hines, Master Gardener, and she's going to talk about how anyone can be a gardener. You don't have to have a green thumb, and you don't even have to have a lick of green anywhere. You can have concrete. And she's going to walk you through the different forms of gardening to make your own unique oasis.
I'm so excited about that because I have to tell you, so when Ben was here, we planted the little seed pots, and I've got like, I don't know, 6-inch peas in my living room, and carrots and broccoli and tomatoes, like plant peppers growing up in my living room. I have no idea what to do with them. And so I need help. So I can't wait for Tuesday night. And then I'm doubly excited for Kim Rohde to be on with us. It's going to be so great. We wish you all the best, Jessica. You're a lifesaver. Thank you for helping me. Y'all, I own this company, but if I didn't, I'd fire myself today because I dropped the ball. But luckily I can't do that. So maybe I'll lay myself off. Who knows? But you all, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we're getting through this one day at a time, and hopefully we'll get our country opened back up, and Shoot Like a Girl will be in a city near you soon, and you'll get to meet all these wonderful instructors that guest spot for us. So you guys have a great day. Bye, Jessica. Thank you.
Bye, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.